Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back. And today we are conducting two sessions. One was the remainder of the previous stanza, which has uh, what do you call a connection to the previous stanza, and then brand new two stanzas. Before we get started, shall we pay respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. It's been a while. I see all of you. Hopefully that you are well, happy. And I think we have probably a couple of newcomers as well. For the newcomers, don't worry, because we pick up new stanza every Thursday. So it's a new Dhammapada stanza, and then we are letting others read, and then check with the pronunciation, and then we are going to study. Usually we study the contextual meaning of the stanza, not just the literal meaning. So we are going to now. So since we are doing three stanzas today, probably we have to save the time. Over 16. Mary, do you have a chanting group? Are you in a chanting group? Okay, group one. Other than that, others, they're already familiar faces, so fine. Okay. Lesson 6. So this is going to be the last stanza of the Appamada Vagga, diligence. So we studied about the 30, what do you call it, 31, stanza number 31, where there is a similar idea, but a little bit different. First two parts are same, but the last two are a little different. See, Appamada Rato Bhikkhu Pamade Bhaya Dassiva. Ababho Parihanaya Nibbana Seva San. Appamada Rato Bhikkhu Pamade Bhaya Dassiva. Abhabbo Parihanaya Nibbana Seva San. So the first thing we do is to ask someone from each group, one, to read. And then if you want to read, you're going to be giving common chance to everybody at the end. So you can raise your virtual hand. So anybody from group one who would like to read, stands up.
Bhante, I try.
Yes.
Okay. Appamada Rato Bhikkhu Pamade Bhaya Siva Ababo Parihanaya Nibbana Seva Santika.
Great. Yes. And group two, someone from group two. Yes, Kim, go ahead.
Bhante, can you put all in page? Is it possible in one page?
Yeah, it might be a little bit smaller. Be okay with you? Like this. Yeah, a bit smaller.
Apa mada rato biku, pamade baya dasiva, ababo parihanaya, nibana seva santika.
Niba Naseva.
Santika.
Huh?
Santika.
Santike.
Okay.
Santike. Yeah, Santike. Okay, good. Group 3. It's 2 pen.
Good evening, Bhante. Apa madarato biku, pamade bayada siwa, ababu parihanaya, nimana sewa santike.
Great. And group
Bhante.
4. Yes. KB on, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Apa mada rato biku, pamade bayada siva, ababo parihanaya, nibana seva santike.
Great. And group 5. Yes, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mada rato biku, pamade bayada siwa, ababo parihanaya, dimbana sewa santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 6. Yes, DC, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mada rato biku, pamada braya dasiwa, ababo paribanaya, nibbana sewa santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 7. Group 7. Group 8. Yes. Yes, please go. I think you are mute. Can you unmute, please? I think still you are on mute, those. Yeah, it's okay. We'll give you a chance again. Don't worry. Now the opportunity is for others. If anybody wants to read, please raise your virtual hand. Start with Pochu Wong, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mada rato biku, pamade baya dasiwa. Apa bo parihanaya, nibana seva santike.
Then we have Noel.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apamada rato biku, pamade bayadasiwa, ababo parihanaya, nibana sewa santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Paripurna.
Good evening, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mada rato biku, pamade baya dasiva, ababo parihanaya, nibana seva santike.
Great. And Seri.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Apa mada
Rato Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great. And we have Indra.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Appamada Rato Bhikkhu, Pamade Bhayadasiva, Abhabbo Parihanaya, Nibbanaseva Santike.
Great. And
Thank
Lisa.
you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Appamada Ratu Bhikkhu, Pamade Bahaya Dasiva, Abhabo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And 9 seconds.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Appamada Ratu Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And feeling.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Appamada Rato Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Then mailing.
Appamada Rato Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Yes, Emma, please.
Okay, Bhante, good
Yes.
evening. Appamada Rado Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great.
Sadhu, thank you, Bhante.
And then Polly.
Bhante Sukhihotu, Appamada Rato Bhikkhu, Pamade Baya Dasiva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbanasa Seva Santike.
Great. And finally, Doris. Yeah.
Sorry, Bhante, I've got problem
Yes.
with this.
Yeah,
It's
we
very
can hear you well.
Thank you. Appamada Ratu Bhikkhu, Pamade Bayada Siva, Ababo Parihanaya, Nibbana Seva Santike.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Because we have another 2 stanzas, we will stop from here and I will explain the stanza here. Appamada Ratu Bhikkhu. Now, you know, the idea here is that it was given to a monk, but we take it in a way that we can understand the generalization of this idea to our Dhammapada. Bhikkhu is a monastic. Appamada Ratu, the monastic who delights in diligence. Now, the Pali word Rato means delights. That means someone can delight in appama, diligence. At the same time, Bhaya, Dasi. Dasi means seeing. Seeing fears about Hamadi, negligence. Dasi means seeing. Bhaya means seeing fear. Sometimes we may be very diligent, but we at the same time need to look at the repercussions of the Hama negligence. That can be a motivation for us to stay in the diligence practice. Aya Dasiva. So whenever we look at negligence, Hamadu, we feel that there is a certain fear arising. But we have to stay motivated. We have to continue motivate the activity. Otherwise, we are not able to stay on to the practice of diligence. Now, when someone is delighted in the practice of diligence, also possessing certain fears about negligence, this person is incapable, above board. This Pali word is very interesting, above board. Have we ever found out this Pali word somewhere else? Above board? Where else have we found out this Pali? Above board.
Karaniya Metta Sutta.
Ratana Sutta, right? In the Ratana Sutta. Maybe we can go and check it out. So, can take a look. I would like to show you some of the similar Pali words so you will understand more.
Ababo so tassa paticha daye.
See? Here, Ratana Sutta. This is Ratana Sutta. You can see it here. Kincha so hammang haro dipapata kayena vacha udacheta sava ababhuva. This is the Pali. Same Pali. Abab.
So tassa.
Ababhu. What is ababhu here? Ineligible. Ineligible. Now here paticha daya means now when you are a sotapan, you are not going to hide your akusala. As long as you are not a sotapanna, you may hide your own akusala. So, when someone does akusala, we understand the particular akusala. But if that person is going to conceal the akusala, there is another akusala that has been done by that person. What is it called? Maya. M long A, Y long A. So that person is created two akusala. Let's say someone has lobha. Then hide the lobha. Then also creates maya. Maya. Maya means concealing one's own akusala. Right? There are times that people ask, hey, you angry, huh? You angry? No, I'm not angry. I'm good. There's lots of anger going around. One is anger, hatred, and then maya, concealing one's own anger. That means people might misunderstand. Yes, I am angry. I want to overcome my anger. Accept that. Recognize, accept my own anger. Yes, I'm jealous. I want to recognize my jealousy. I want to overcome my jealousy. That is the way. Otherwise, that person is creating one akusala, another akusala, double akusala. One akusala with another akusala. Very interesting. So, ababhu means ineligible. Let's go to our text here. Here, Dhammapada stanza says, ababhu parihanai. Now, when someone is delighting in the practice of appama, and having some fears about going back to negligence, that person is incapable of backsliding. What is backsliding? Backsliding means someone is a good person, but after a while going back to being a bad person. Someone was a generous person, but after a couple of months, the person is going back to become a greedy person. Someone was a very metta person, a person who had lots of metta, but after a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of days, going back to become a person of not having metta. Someone who was a very patient person. Last year, he was very patient, but this year, he or she cannot tolerate that much. We call it backsliding. Backsliding. So here, so when you are delighting in appama, diligence, when you have fears about particular negligence, you will never go back to your negligent behavior. You will never backslide. You are incapable. You are not deserving to backslide. That's what it says. Abappu parihan. Then, whenever you are not able or eligible to backslide, then you are quite closer to enlightenment. Nibbana. Santike. Santike means neighborhood. Close. Santike. Nibbana say. Now, what does the stanza overall talk about? It talks about that only when you have the practice of diligence, you are getting closer to enlightenment. You are getting 1 step closer, 2 steps closer, 3 steps closer, 4 steps closer. It is only done by a consistent, committed, consistent, and innovative, diligent practice. So this is the idea of stanza. And there is a story about this stanza. The story is about Nigamatissa monk. Monk Nigamatissa. Monk Nigamatissa used to go to his relatives, family members for alms in the park. He didn't ever join big Sangika Dana, like in the palaces of King Kosala, Anathapindika. He did not join. So other monks informed the Buddha, right, that this monk is not joining this large, big dana. It's unnecessary. Yeah? Other monks will inform the Buddha. Right? He's having his own dana from somebody. Why they have to inform the Buddha? Somebody's food. Anyway, they inform unenlightened monks. And then Buddha asks all the monks, Nigamatissa, and asks him, why are you not joining this very big Mahasangika Dam? You are also doing very big one. 100 monks, 500 monks, 1,000 monks come into one very big place, big building, something like that. And then he said, Bhante, I am happy with whatever the food my family people give me. I don't look for better food. If I go to King Kosala's mansion, Anathapindika's house, I may have better food. But I am happy with my family members. So there is a Pali word he used. I'm going to type it here. Pig. Something like a picture. So then the Buddha said, sadhu, sadhu, a picture. This monk, Nigamatissa, has the quality of a picture. A picture means itcha means expecting or on needing. Appa means a little. So he is not looking for a lot. He is not needing a lot of food. He is happy with the family members, relatives. Actually, other monks informed the Buddha because they misunderstood this monk is going to his family members, or having some connections to family members, something like that. So he said, I am happy with my family members because they are not making a lot, and whatever the food that they are making for me, I'm happy with those. Mostly, those are not very sumptuous meals. Those are food that they are making in their own way. I'm happy. So then the Buddha appreciated the quality of apicchata. Apiccha means needing the little. So what we can learn from this stanza? Can we practice this quality time to time in regard to our needs in our life? I know that we cannot tell anybody, hey, you have to expect a little, because everyone has his or her own needs. But time to time, can we live with a little? Then at that point, let me tell you another story. The Buddha said a story about Nigamatissama. In one of my previous life, I was one of the parrot king. So I started practicing this quality. I thought one day I am the head parrot. I don't want to go to other trees. I want to eat only the fruits in my tree. Then one day, fruits were gone. Then I was trying to eat some of the leaves, some of the branches. Then the Sakka at that time felt the picture quality of this head parrot, Jataka story. He wanted to check, is this real? So he came and he started drawing the whole tree. But then, even at that point, the head parrot didn't want to leave the tree. He was just trying to rely on the dust of that tree, practicing the picture quality. Then Sakka informed him, I wanted to check on you, but I understand you are practicing this quality of picture now. Then the Buddha said, at that time, the head parrot was me, the Sakka was Bhante Ananda. That means Bhante Ananda was a Sakka. In one of his previous, Sakka is a position, right? Sakka was a position. I think we discussed about Sakka a few weeks ago. Bhante Ananda, he was a Sakka, he was a Sakka in that life. Right? When think about that, it's like a movie, huh? Different people take different casts. So, in that life, Bhante Ananda was a Sakka. So, anyways, Buddha said, it is important to practice apicchata time to time. Now just think about our food. Can we spend a day without our favorite food for the breakfast, for the lunch, for the dinner? That is one very challenge to some people. If we have a medical problem, it's okay. But other than that, can we survive? Can we live without internet one day? People might go crazy. Yeah? Can we live without internet? Probably one day. Maybe we have other things to do, but can we? Can we live without certain other things we have? But what if this happens one? We should be able to survive. In terms of clothing, in terms of food, in terms of our places where we stay, in terms of other things, right? We should be able to survive. That's why in the Metta Sutta, Buddha said, Subaru, we should be able to be surviving at any point. We should never become a burden to anybody. Like those people, they are saying, we are dying, anicca, anicca, anicca. But they never do anything for their funeral. They are letting that happen to other people to take the burden. Who is going to do your funeral when you pass away? As a Buddhist, we must understand that we are going to die. We should not give that burden to anybody in our family. Planning. Because we know. Right? That is the Buddhist way. Not that letting you die, somebody has to, and then they are struggling, they are chatting, they are arguing with each other, right? the money and everything. Right? You have to plan. That's the Buddhist way. Not that the crisis to happen and then to make decision. So in that way, we understand that it's very important to practice this up picture quality. Time to time in our life, we should be able to live with a little. We don't need a lot. We should be able to live with a little. It might be food, it might be clothing, it might be other people, it might be internet, it might be money, but so that quality has to be developed. Otherwise, if something happens to us, all of a sudden, we will become very panicked. Some people even go crazy. They can't even manage themselves. Right? Say, for instance, you miss a flight, there's no other flight until tomorrow. Right? You have an important something somewhere. Think in that. It's a good moment to practice patience. Right? It's a good opportunity that came to me. I'm going to practice patience. So you are trying to create more opportunities in that way. A picture quality can also be that kind of quality, needing a little. So Buddha said, I appreciate Nigamatis, among Nigamatis. That is what he said. So what we can learn is time to time, we should be able to practice this, needing a little, not needing a lot. That can help us survive at any time. Okay, any questions before we jump on to the 2 stanzas? If not, please keep the questions. All right. Stanza number 6. Sorry, the day of PRC is 61. So today we are covering two classes because the last stanza was a part of the previous class. So this normally doesn't happen, but I had to add to it. Yeah, lesson 61. Dhammapada 33, 30. Okay. So we are going into a new chapter. Chapter number what? What's the name of the chapter? The number?
33.
Number 3. Number 3. What is this chapter about? Chitta.
Mind.
C-A-T-T. What is chitta? Is chitta mind? Is chitta thought? Is chitta consciousness? Is chitta something else? What is it? May I know?
Chitta is a thought.
Mind.
It's mind. Yeah, in English language, only one mind. One mind. So, how do we understand this? What is a chitta? According to the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha says there are almost 16 to 17 thoughts, chittanupassana. So in Buddhism, there is no one mind. You can say the mind is a coordination about thoughts and consciousness types. But in Buddhism, we understand there are thoughts. There are thoughts. Lobha is a thought. Dana is a thought. Dosa is a thought. Metta is a thought. Moha is a thought. Panya is a thought. Karuna is a thought. Okay? The opposite of karuna is also a thought. Okay? So these are thoughts. In Buddhism, we don't have, if you really look into that, not one mind. We have many minds. We call it thoughts. So what we are going to do is, we are going to protect our thought. We cannot control our thoughts. So in English, we have a problem. In English, we normally understand our mind, control your mind. You have a monkey mind, control your monkey mind. But in Buddhism, if you really look into, even in Dhammapada stanzas here, Buddha says, thoughts. Let's see how they are going to be looked at. Chitta. Oh, So, chapter number 3. Right? Andanang chapalang chittang durakhang dunnivarayang ujung karoti medhami usukharu tejanang. Not pandanang, pandanang, PH. Pandanang chapalang chittang durakhang dunnivarayang ujung karoti medhami usukharu tejanang. Yeah. So we will ask groups to read this. Group number 1. Yes, Meli, please.
Pandanang kapalang citang, durakang duni waranang, ujung karoti medavi, usu karova tejanang.
Okay, great.
Thank
And
you,
group
Bhante.
2, yes. Group 2. Sorry, yes. Sorry.
Padanang capalang citang, durakang duni warayang, ujung karoti medavi, usu karowa tejanang.
Interesting. Group 3. Group 3. Yes, Paripurna.
Pandanam capalam citang durakang duni varayam ujung karoti medavi usukarova tejanam.
Great. Group 4. Yes, KBR, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Pandanang capalang citang, durakang duni varayam, ujung karoti medavi, usukarova tejanang.
Okay, great.
Thank
And group 5.
Sorry, Bhante. Is it usukarowa or usukarowa in this
What's
case?
that?
Is it usukarowa or
Usukarova.
usukarova?
Usukarova tejanang. There's a combination. It has to be A, but we don't say E. It's elided. A. Drop. Omitted. Yes, Melinda.
Thank you, Bhante. Pandanam capalang citam durakam duni varayam ujung karoti medavi usokaro wa tejanam. Thank you. Thank you.
And group
Thank you.
6. Yeah. Group 6. Yes, JC. Yes.
Thank you. Padanang capadam citang durakam duni warayam ujum karoti medavi usu karo wa tejanang.
Okay, great. And group number 7. Group number 7. If not, group 8. Yes. Go, space.
Thank you, Bhante.
Get something.
Padanang capalang citang, durakang duni varayang, ujung karoti medavi, usukarova tejanang.
Okay, good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Others? Anybody else? Chance to take the beat. Starting from Kochuron. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Pandanang capalang citang, durakang duni warayang, ujung karoti medavi, Usukarova Tejanam.
Great. And
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
yes.
Padanang capalang citang, durakang duni warayang, ujum karoti medavi, usukarowa te janam.
Great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Capalang citang. Durakang duni warayang. Ujung karoti medavi. Usu karova te janang.
Okay, great. And Sari? Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Pandanam cha palam chitam. Durakam duni varayam. Ujum karoti medavi. Usukaro ver te janam.
Okay, great. And Indra? Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Pandanang chapalang chittang, durakang dunni varayang, ujung karoti medhavi, usukarawa te janam.
Okay, great. And
Thank you.
Champaka? Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Padanam chapalam chitam. Durakam duni varayam. Ujum karoti medavi. Usukarova tejanam.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Lisa?
Okay, thank you, Bhante. Pandanam chapalam chitam. Durakam duni varayam. Ujum karoti medavi. Usukaro va tejanam.
Yes, great. And nine, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Padanang chapalang chitang. Durakang duni varayang. Ujung karoti medavi. Usukarova te janang.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Margaret? Yes.
Pandanam capalam citam, durakam duni varayam, ujum karoti medavi, usu karova te janam.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Thank
And
you.
Mary? Yes.
Okay. Pandanang capalang citang, durakang duni warayang, ujung karoti medavi, usu karowa te janang.
Okay, great. And him?
Pandanam capalam citam. Durakam duni warayam. Uju karoti medavi. Usukarawe te janam.
Usuka?
Which one?
Usuka.
Usukarowe te janam.
Great.
Te janam.
Now,
Thank
anybody
you.
else? Yes. All right. So when we look at this tense, I want to add something else. Actually, we have entered into one of the most interesting Dhammapada chapters, thought. Because we are all interested about learning about our thoughts. But when you look at the first two lines of this stanza, do you feel kind of discouraged about calming, concentrating your thoughts? Restless, agitated, hard to protect, hard to prevent. When you say hard, does hard mean we cannot? Or is it difficult, more difficult? Right? Like remember in one sutta in Anguttara Nikaya, Buddha says that it's hard to find someone who has who has less akusala, other than finding someone who is enlightened. But then somebody who is writing a book copied that in his own way, said that everybody who has not attained Nibbana are mentally sick people. So this Pali word hard, that means hard, we have another word for this, what do you call, it's very challenging, it's very difficult to find out. But hard here does not mean that we cannot, we can, but it's challenging. Let's take a look. Handanang, chapalang, chittang, durakang, dunnivarya. Some people say durak, durakang, dunnivarya. So, ujum karoti medhavi, usukaro tejana. This is a very interesting background that the Buddha is giving us in understanding our thoughts. I think this is a very interesting, I would say it's kind of a good preamble, good advice before we do anything about our thoughts. What does he say? Please be careful, take caution, because Handana, our thoughts are mostly Handana. Handana means they are restless. Is it a good thing that our thoughts are restless? What if our thoughts are always restful, very restful? Huh? Suppose that our thoughts are always having a rest. You don't have to look ahead, look away, look back, watch internet, watch TV, all people maybe do other things. That means that we are by default restless. Sorry, restful, not restless, restful. What will be the situation at that point? If we are by default very restful. Now the stanza says we are by default restless. What if the opposite happened? What if that we were by default very restful? So then people don't want to look ahead, look away, watch TV, watch internet, because they are always restful. Right? Actually, the nature that our thoughts are restless is a good thing. Why? Why is it? Why it is good that our thoughts are restless? Then
keep the mind active.
Keep the mind active, and then we are not get stuck in one thought. Then with our kusala energy, we can direct us to the good things. Now say for instance, there is someone who has encountered a lot of negativities, toxic things in his or her life. Somebody blame, somebody misuse, rejections, breakups, divorce, business failures, what else? You name it. A lot of things, right? Sometimes you can talk, sometimes you cannot talk because of the level, the thing. What if that the mind is not restless? Mind is always resting, then especially in this case, thoughts, they are always go back to the negativities. We cannot make a choice. So that's why distractions are always good. So there is a good side here. So by nature, our thoughts are restless. That's the nature of it. But Buddha, in one of his main teachings about how to understand akusala, he said that restlessness can be a akusala also. What is the Pali word he used there? He said, Uddacha. Uddacha, right? That was the Pali word he used. Uddacha. This is the Pali word for Uddacha. So he's directly quoting, because our thoughts are bandhana, it creates Uddacha. That means restlessness. Right? So in a way, Buddha is asking, you have to keep your thoughts restful. Now say for instance, you are someone who is challenging your sleep. Huh? There are people who are challenging their own sleep. I don't want to sleep 7 hours, I sleep only 4 hours. Let's see whether I can work tomorrow. They are challenging for a couple months. And then over time, they are expiring from their health. And then slowly, they are trying to age faster. But the Buddha said, don't grow old faster. Right? That's what the Buddha said. Now, these people, they don't sleep well. 4 hours, they challenge the sleep and they get sick. And when they get sick, when they're getting older, they call it, this is anicca. They misunderstand anicca. They misuse this concept of anicca. The Buddha said, never grow old faster, but understand you will grow older one. But never let it happen. Why you want to let it happen? The sutta is Donapaka Sutta in the Samyutta Nikaya. Buddha said, when you eat in moderation, you will grow old slow. You will age, what do you call it? In a slower way. When people say, when they get together, you know how much we eat to an extent we cannot even talk. That's our happiness. So 10, 15 people get together for eating. Time to time, they eat to a level where that they cannot even talk at that point. The Buddha said, you should never eat too much or too less. Eat in moderation. It's a part of your meditation practice, a part of your Dhamma practice. How did he say that? In one of the Dhammapada stanzas we learned long time ago. I think 3rd or 4th Dhammapada stanza we did long time ago. Bhojane cha mattanyuta. Eat in moderation. Was the Buddha concerned about the food we are eating? Did the Buddha say, you cannot eat this, you cannot eat this, you should eat this, you should eat that? He didn't say anything about it. But he said for the monks, you cannot eat 10 meats if you are in the forest. That's a difference. What the Buddha said was that when you eat in moderation, that really impacts our Dhamma practice. Our sicknesses, our tiredness, our lack of energy, less virya, less vayam, all these are coming because of our unhealthy, poor choices we made for our lifestyle. So that's why I want to say that we need to rest our body in a proper way. So resting is important. But if you rest your body too much, that can also create some. But if you don't rest your body, it's also a problem. In order for us to rest our body and thoughts, we need to do it with our thoughts. That's why the Buddha said, our thoughts are, by default, they are restless. We have to understand that. Then, chapalang. Even that, they are chapalang. Chapalang means, the translation is agitated thought. They are fickle. They are very fickle. How do we know our thoughts are very fickle? How do we understand that there is a point in our life, our thoughts become very fickle, very, what do you call? Probably not very levelish. You know, when people become old, they sometimes get the mind of a child, like the Brahmins say. Sometimes people argue for a small thing. They don't have time to tolerate a lot. They don't have time to give a lot of thoughts about it. Right? And you see the people who are taking their life, how the mind is, how much fickle was their mind. Sometimes very educated people. I remember one young man who was a TA in a US university long time, 10 years ago. He had a problem from his family, marrying, I think, dating someone from a different religion. And then he searched something on Google, how to die through a certain chemical thing. And then he was such a good TA. He scored very well, very smart, very genius. But then, through finding lots of information on how to die, through those combination of chemicals he found out on Google search, he took his life. But how that kind of a genius, very smart mind ended up in that kind of a tragedy? That means when you are too intellectual, it's also a problem. When you become too intellectual, you are intellectually vulnerable to the needs. So we have to be intellectual, but to a certain level. Sometimes you may perhaps see some of the people who are going to kill other people, terrorists, super genius people. They were being brainwashed with the ideology. Okay? So that's why our thoughts can be fickle, even though we are super smart. That's why we have to take care of them. We are intellectual people, very smart people, knowledgeable. It doesn't matter. What matters is that whether we understand what is the point, my thoughts become fickle. My thoughts become agitated. So the Buddha says our thoughts are restless, fickle, or agitated, can be agitated anytime. And then Durakang. Durakang. Rakka means, I like to use this Pali word when people are asking, Bhante, how to control the mind? You go to some problem. How to control? I said, you cannot control our thoughts. We have a thought. We have thoughts. You cannot control it. I think the way you ask the question has a prompt. What the Buddha said was, you have to take care of your thought, protect your thought, not control. Because if you control it, one day you cannot control it. Right? You think about a factory, people have to control the quantity and quality. Right? And one day they might lacking the quality at a certain point, controlling over quality. Right? So we don't control our thoughts, because controlling is a tedious effort. And we will end up with not being able to control, and all the mess will happen at that point. It's like you pushing a ball in the board. Yeah, when you take your foot off, ball will come back. We are understanding what is this thought. This is a very greedy thought. Thereby, I don't want this. With a good understanding, we are going to protect the opposite of that thought. I want the generosity. This is anger. I know this is my anger. Why it came up? There are certain conditions, and I don't want to let it grow. I want to overcome, and I want to choose the opposite of anger, metta. I choose it. I'm not controlling. I'm protecting myself. I'm making wise choices. That's the way. That's why the Buddha said we have to protect, take care of our thought, but understand taking care of the thoughts, protecting the thoughts. It's a challenging. It's challenging because how many thoughts are happening every moment, every nanosecond, even every fraction of that second. Many thoughts are coming up and coming up, going. Right? Thoughts are coming, going. But understand, it is challenging, but you can do it. That's what the Buddha says in the following stanza. You can do it, but it's a challenging work. Dun nivaraya. Sometimes nivaraya means prevent. Sometimes temptations are coming. Sometimes it's very difficult to resist. Right? Temptations are more powerful than us. Is it a good statement? No. You have to take the other way around. Temptations can be super powerful, but we have to develop our mindfulness and all these good qualities to weaken the power of the temptation. Understand temptation. But when the temptations are coming, we feel very difficult to prevent these things. By nature, when we look at it on the surface, what a bad temptation. I just had my lunch and I go to the mall. I see very nice, I feel a smell. smell it. I want to eat this food. I just had my lunch. I want to eat this thing. Why this is happening? Can I calm myself? Can I wait until I go home? I just had my food. Say, for instance, you had the full course of lunch, full course of dinner, but still you want to open the fridge and eat something, munch something. Why? Cannot help not eating that. Why? Temptations invading your sensory experience. That is why we have to empower our thoughts, give lots of power to our thoughts to disable the ability of working off these temptations. But understand, it's challenging. Don't underestimate the power of temptation. It's challenging, but you can do it. Dunnivaryam is difficult to prevent, but still can. Then the Buddha says an idea. Yes, there is a way out. How to face the situation. With an example. Ujung karoti medhavi. Medhavi means someone who has wisdom. We call it a sage. Someone who has wisdom, unenlightened or enlightened. That person is trying to straighten the thought. Now, let's say the thought is like a bulgy, curvy kind of thoughts. Go here, right? Thoughts go here and there. But if you have this understanding, I can take care of my thoughts, your thoughts become very straight. Goes on a straight line. It's very linear. You know what you want. You know what you want. It's a target. Actually, if you look at our Buddhist practice, finally everything is a planning for a target. Now, Buddha says, spot your akusala right away, target. Find out, choose kusala thoughts. Target. Right? You have to plan it. So that means it's a straight line. It's a linear process. But please understand, Dhamma is not a linear process. You can go here, because we don't know how does Dhamma work sometimes. But the process of keeping our thoughts pure and then wholesome, we can think about a straight line. Means keep creating dana thoughts, metta thoughts, wise thoughts. You are going on a straight line here. There are lots of examples about this. I will explain to you at the end of this these two stanzas. There's a story about Bhante Megian, monk Megian. Okay, so the Buddha says that if you are a wise person, your thoughts are not going here. You are conscious of what you want. It's not a straight line, but it's going to be like a straight, very straight line of thoughts. Ujum means straight, karun. You are becoming a wise person, you are going on a straight, whatever you want, you are aiming. It's like Usukaru. It's a fletcher. Who is a fletcher? Someone who is making an arrow. So he's finding certain wood and he's trying to make it straight so that arrow can be shot. As a fletcher, the shaft of an arrow. Because they are finding some crooked wood structure and then they want to make them straight, that the people who want to strike the arrow, they can strike the arrow and then try to rip them apart. But the wood is crooked. So in the same way, if our thoughts are crooked, zigzag crooked, then we have to put them together and we have to bring them to protection. We have to take care of them so we can reach whatever our wholesome project through that kind of protection of the thoughts. Once again, let's go back. Pandanang, we understand our thoughts are by default, by nature, restless, and they are freckled, they are agitated. We feel that it's very challenging to protect them sometimes. It's challenging sometimes to prevent the temptation that are coming from thoughts. But we understand we can do something, we can do it, we can get through it. Just as how a fletcher is sharp with an arrow, you can straighten. That means you are going to work on the positive side of these acusalas and make them straight. You are not going to be affected by this. How you can be not affected? You have to take care of their thoughts. Like how you every time say to people, what is the last word you are saying when you see of someone? Hey, take care, take care, take care. Why? Take care, such a nice word. Take care of your thoughts. Hey, take care, be safe. You say, hey, protect yourself. Maybe control yourself, you might be in trouble. That's a little bit daunting. Take care, be safe. Such a very nice word, a very pleasant word. We can be affected by that nice wording. Everywhere we go, my mother say, father say, your spouse, or whoever say, it's a very nice ending of any meeting, any chat, anything. That is the same thing we have to bring to our thoughts. Never control it. All right, and then perhaps we go to the questions after the next stanza to. Maybe we can ask any question about this stanza. Second stanza has a different approach about this. Any questions about this stanza? The nature of the thoughts and what we are supposed to do. Yes, Pali.
Thank you, Bhante. Bhante, you said just now that chitta is our metta feelings. Is it involves, what about emotion? Is it part of emotion? Because
Metta?
sometimes it does feel like the chitta is more on the emotional side, and then perhaps it's mano more on the thinking side, the objective, subjective mind.
Well, chitta has sanya as a part of it. Normally we understand Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vinyana. They all are part of a chitta. Now, say for instance, someone has metta for somebody. In this experience of metta, this person has sanya. Sanya means emotion part. Sanya means emotion part. We call sanya to be emotion. Perception, you can say perception, memory, and all that. Sanya part is the emotion part. Then every thought has a Vedana part, feeling part. Now metta, that's the thought. It has a feeling. Then it also has a Sankhara part. You are creating akusala, kusala through that. Now in this case, metta, kusala. So emotion, say for instance in English, emotion, feeling, they are all composites of a chitta. They are lying inside of a chitta. That's how we take it.
Thank you, Bhante. Then Bhante, what about Vijnana is consciousness? Is there like three parts, mano? What is mano then, Bhante?
So Vijnana is a heightened experience of couple of things. Now let's say chitta is a thought. We have another word called mano. We take mind in a certain perspective, but Buddha is always asking to take care of the thoughts, not the mano. He always say chittanupassana. Chitta. Not mano. He said mano is just a place where the chittas are arising, staying and passing away. So Vijnana, according to the Buddha, is a heightened level of our thoughts. He said, Chakku, our eyes, then the Rupa, sight, when they get together, then it creates a Vijnana. We call it eye consciousness. Then when my eyes see the Zoom meeting here, then my eyes are having a certain consciousness because of that amalgamation. So I would say not to worry about consciousness, because consciousness is a step further in this experience. Buddha normally says to take care of your thoughts, because if your thoughts are okay, then consciousness will become automatically good, wholesome. Yeah. But in the 5 aggregates, Buddha says Vijnana, which has Chitta, Mano, and everything. Vijnana has couple of contexts. I think probably we're going to pick up the last stanza and then we will discuss the rest, and then we can discuss more questions. Okay, so the idea here is that it's a very interesting background to this chapter. The Buddha is saying we have to be careful with our thoughts. The number of thoughts can be seen under the Chittanupassana. Probably 16 or 17 under Dhammapada. And we have to understand what they are individually. And then we have to take care of them by understanding any moment something can happen if we are not taking care of our thoughts, but not controlling it. The Buddha said, you can do it. The last stanza. Vari jova kali kitto oka mokata ubbatu pari pandati langchitang mara deyang pahata. Now he goes on to say further examples about the fickleness of the agitated mind, agitated thought. Vari jova kali kitto oka mokata ubbatu paripandati dang chitta mara deyang pahata. All right, maybe we can ask groups to read last stanza. Group 1. Yeah,
Thanks, Bhante. Varijo va tale kito. Oka mokata ubato. Pari pandati tam chitam. Mara deyang pahatave.
Great.
Thank you,
Group
Bhante.
2. Yes. Yes, group 2. Yes, Kim.
Thank you, Bhante. Varijo va tale kito, oka mokata obato, pari pandati dang chitang, mara deyang paha teva.
Mara deyang
Paha teva. Teva.
paha tave.
Paha tave.
Tave. Mara deyang paha tave.
Paha mara deyang paha tave.
Tave. Okay, great. And group 3. Yes, Chupen.
Varijo va tale kito, oka mukata ubato, pari pandati dang chitang, mara deyang pahatave.
Mara deyang.
Pardon?
Mara deyang.
Mara deyang
Pahatave.
pahatave. Thank
Yes,
you, Bhante.
great. And Kevion. Group 4.
Thank you, Bhante. Vari jowa tale kito. Oka mukata ubato. Pari pandati dang chitang. Maradiyang pahatave.
Great.
Thank you.
And group 5. Yes, Melinda.
Thank you, Bhante. Varijo va tale kito, oka mokata upato, paripandati dam chitam, maradeyam pahatave.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Bhante.
Group 6. It's TC.
Warejowa tale kito. Okamo kata ubato. Paribandati dem chitang. Marahiyam pahatawe.
Great. Group 7. So, Emma, please go ahead.
Okay, first. Wari Jowa Tale Kito, Okamo Kata Ubato, Pari Pandai Dati Dam Chitam, Mara Deyam Paha de Tawe.
Wow. Great. And last group 8. Doris, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Vari Jova Tale Kito, Okamukata Ubato, Paripandati Dam Chitang, Mara Deyang Paha Tabe.
Okay, great. All right. Any others who want to read? Start with Oil. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Wari Jowa Tale Kito, Okamo Kata Ubato, Paripandati Dam Chitam, Maradeyam Paha Tabe.
Great. And Indra?
Thank you, Bhante. Wari Jowa Tale Kito, Okamo Kata Ubbato, Pari Pandatidang Chittang, Mara Deyang Pahatabe.
Great. And Lisa?
You.
Thank you. Varijova Tale Kito, Oka Mukata Upato, Pari Panda Tidam Chitam, Maradeyam Pahatave.
Great.
Thank
and
you.
we have Seri.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Warijo wa tale kito. Oka mo kata obato. Paripandati dam chitam. Maradeyam pahatawe.
Great.
Thank you.
And then 9 chapters.
Thank you, Bhante. Varijo Vertale Kito, Okamokata Ubato, Paripanda Didang Chitang, Marade Yang Pahatave.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Paripun.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Wari Jowa Tale Kito, Oka Mokata Ubato, Pari Pandatidam Chitam, Mara Deyam Pahatawe.
Great. And Champaklam. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Varijova Tale Kito, Oka Mokata Upato, Pari Pantantitam Chitam, Mara Diyam Pahatave.
Great. And
Thank you.
finally, Kochumon. Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, Kochumon.
Warijowa Tale Kito, Okamokata Ubato, Paripandati Tang Chitang, Maradeyang Pahatawe.
Okay, great.
Thank
Anybody
you,
else?
Bhante.
All right. And because of the timing, I have to start. Now, the Buddha picks up another example with a fish. Now here, Vari. Vari means lake. In Pali, Vari means lake. Okay. So then what kind of fish is this? Freshwater lake. Freshwater fish. This fish must come from a freshwater, not from the opposite, from the sea. Vari jova talikitto. Varija means a fish. Talikitto. Now, kitto means, actually we have to take this thrown part. Kitto means thrown. So there is a fish which was taken out of the water and thrown. Oka mokata. Thrown from where? Taken from where? Oka means from its watery abode, from the lake. Ubbato, dry ground. The fish, maybe somebody has done something to take the fish out of the water and thrown dry ground. Maybe something happened by nature. In the same way, Paripandati agitates, prickling. Our thoughts are always prickling. It can be good, it can be not good. So it is the way how we going to handle it, right? Sometimes it is not the temptation, it is how we process the temptation, right? That's why some people make a statement, I was such a very good person, but you ruined that thing. Destroyed that thing. They blame the other person. It's his problem, her problem. Nobody's doing anything wrong. So it's not actually the nature of the thoughts all the time. It's how we process, how we are going to perceive the experience. So here the Buddha says, yes, the nature of the thoughts are always fickle, agitating, like a fish taken out of the fresh water and then thrown on a dry ground. And then what the Buddha says here, Mara Deya Pahatave. This part is implied. It's not given here proper. Implied. You have to understand it. Even in the implied sense. Mara Deya. Mara Deya. Deya means command. Pahatave. Now, the nature of our thoughts is given to us because of the Mara's dominance. Who is the Mara? Who is the Mara? He is our spiritual proprietor. Spiritual. Our owner of our sensual pleasures. He is the one who really like if we are enjoying sensual pleasures. There's no harm to enjoy the sensual pleasures, but he is very happy if someone is too much enjoying sensual pleasures because he knows this person will come back again. It's like, you go to a restaurant, you are eating a lot, the owner is very happy, this guy is coming back, I got some money. He's very happy. Maybe you go and do a Yelp comment, Google review after you go home. Make my business to the next level. Very happy. The same way, Mara is very happy. And you guys enjoy, you come back again. See you soon. That is what Mara thinks. So here, what the Buddha says to us is that we don't have to be under his control. But be careful, if you are trying to get out of his control, his dominance, is troubling, he can trouble. He doesn't like it. It happens, right? Sometimes when you are going not to be submissive to some people, they are not happy, yeah? They're not happy. How come? You should be under me. You must be submissive to me, right? You cannot be not submissive to me. Mara would like us to be submissive to him. So how to win this Mara? Understand our sensory experience. What is happening to my eyes? Sight comes to my eye. What can I do? Do I make a wise choice all the time or not? If I don't make a wise choice, I am under the Mara's dominance. Mara's kick. If sounds are coming to my ears, do I make a wise choice? What is this wise choice? Am I making a wholesome choice? Am I making a wholesome sight? Am I making a wholesome experience with regard to my smell, taste, all that? Now, don't take it wrongly. It doesn't mean that you cannot be spoiled by a food. You enjoy it, but understand where is your level of moderation. Where are you going to end up with this particular thing? Right? Have you ever experienced, because everybody likes food, more or less. Have you ever experienced a moment of time that you cannot help not limiting your intake of certain food? you feel still want to have more and more and more. Sometimes you want to eat, but you cannot eat, but you still want to eat. What is that? That's a real craving, right? Super craving. So look at those moments of life where you failed in your sensory experience. Okay, unwise in your sensory experience. You know those moments in your life. Think about 10 years back, 20 years back. What happened? How have I been experiencing my sensory experiences? Have I been able to succeed in my sensory experience? Or have I been always succumb to the Mara's dominance? Did Mara take me over? Or did I take Mara over? That's why the Buddha says here, agitation happens, don't worry, but take him over. When you take him over, he's so happy, so you're not submissive, but through understanding what is going to happen with your eye experience, ear experience, nose experience, then tongue experience, body experience, mind experience, you are going to make your way to that wisdom. That's the plan. Okay. Story. I'm going to make this story very short because of the time here. You know, till the Buddha got his permanent attendant monk, Bhante Ananda, some other monks time to time took care of him. One of the monks who took care of him was Bhante Meghir. What was his name? Bhante Meghir. Yes. Meghir. Sorry. Meghir. So, when Buddha went to a certain city, Bhante Meghir asked, Bhante, can I go to this forest and meditate? Buddha said, no, don't go there. There's something else happening here. He asked for the second time. That you don't have to go there. You stay here. Do your practice. Third time also he asked. He said, then the Buddha said, okay, you can go do your meditation. So he went there. But when he went there, he was very amazed by the environment in that forest. He felt he was like a king in the forest. He saw that he was enjoying the forest with his entourage, his people there. His dancing ladies, music people, performers. Now he feels he's like a king in the forest. And then in a moment of time, while he was enjoying in the mind, thoughts, not in real life, now he thinks he's a king. Then the forces brought a couple of people. They're culprits of a certain crime. Then he felt very angry. Yeah, you guys stole some money from somewhere, from a village. You looted some passengers on the way. So he had this, what do you call? Vihinsa Vitakka. He had Kama Vitakka. Kama Vitakka means a thought of sensual pleasure. And then now Vihinsa Vitakka, thought of hatred in a way, ill will. And then now he's going to say, ask the people, enforcement people, go bring them and then give them some punishment. Then Vihinsa also came. What do you call Kama, Vyapada, Vihinsa. So three thoughts came. Then immediately he came back to normal. I'm still a monk. How come I became a king over here? I had Kama. I was thinking, enjoying pleasures in this forest, and I saw some my people brought as a king some criminals, and I told them to do some punishments. Then he immediately left the place and told the Buddha, Bhante, these three thoughts came to me while I was just enjoying the forest. Then the Buddha said, no wonder, I know it. 500 lives before, you were at the same place, you were the king in this, you were a king at that time, you came to this forest. That's why you came up with this thought. Now be careful, when you go to some faraway, nice places, if you come up with some thoughts, that means you must have been in that place before. Actually, people are saying, when they go to certain places, I have been here before, but you haven't been there. Some forests, some parks, some other places, because Your consciousness knows you've been there and you passed away in this place. In the same way, sometimes when you see people, you never know those people. I feel I know you. We haven't met, but we have met in our samsaric life. Sometimes the person in the house, you've been living with that person for 30, 40 years. You don't have this feeling, but you meet somebody for the first time. I feel that I know you for many years. Right? Samsaric connections come into place. And then the Buddha said, be careful. This forest is not going to help you to meditate. Change. And it changed. The Buddha said, your mind is very agitated because you have gone to a place where you have been in a previous life. That's why this happened. So this is a story. Very interesting. While we are understanding the agitated level of the mind or fickle level of the mind, we also need to understand time to time, we feel a little bit of familiarity when we go to certain places. It might be a good experience, but it might also be a very distracting experience. Temptation, distractions, right? So, Buddha said, take caution, but still you can do something. Then he understood, he changed the place, he became a Sotama. So, all right, any questions about the second two stanzas? Can take a couple of minutes for we practice some. But be careful, there are fake people who are saying that. I think I know you before. Yeah. Fake people. They play tricks on you. Because you feel, that day we learned that also in the class. Maybe this is happening now today. No, they can be fake people. Yeah, like scams. Careful. But when it happens naturally, there's no other condition, no other reason, naturally happening, something to think about. Why this is happening to me? When I go to some places, I feel I've been here before. Because Buddha says in one of the places, as a bird itself, you cannot say you have not flown in that place. That means we have been birds in all birds categories and flown everywhere in this universe. Very interesting. In one of the places, Buddha says, by being a bird, we have traveled everywhere in this world. That means we must have been different birds. All right, any questions?
So, okay. So, Bhante, if we feel agitated in some new place or something, can we always blame the karma with the new place?
You feel
Can
agitated about?
yeah. If say like I did experience. I was in Edinburgh. I just can't stop crying. So I believe that very much. And I went to another place also. I felt so happy. So I think it's very true. But can we sometimes blame this situation that you're agitated or unhappy due to the past experience in that place? You know what I mean? It becomes excuse.
I didn't properly hear. Can you make it a little bit short? Yes. Question?
No, but it's just that maybe we would sometimes then use an excuse that, that it's due to karma of some place or our past impressions of the place. That's why we're having a lot of akusala karma reactions,
Yeah, sometimes
justification.
we are struggling with these places and people. When you go to some places, when you meet some people, because of our past relationships, things are coming back, rolling back. Yes. So that's why we have to be very careful. Sometimes we meet our old enemies, samsaric enemies, in a different setup. Right? Think about it. Same wine in different wine bottles. Right. So they come in different bottles, but same wine. So in the same way, we can meet them. So we have to be very careful. I think this is This is happening in both ways, good and bad. Sometimes they are good. Say, for instance, if you have practiced a lot of Dhamma in a previous life, it is not very difficult for you to keep up with that. Learning and all that, understanding more, realizing more. So I think even in your experience, you must have done that in a previous life. Otherwise, you can't keep up with these things. So there must have a certain sansaric link that must have happened. But due to the inadequacy of that practice, we are still in the sansara. It was not strong enough. So we are still, here and there. Yes, we need to intensify in the proper. That's a good thing about this particular idea, actually.
Thank you, Bhante.
But what about the bad thing? Let's say somebody, now we understand, there are people who cannot see blood. And some example, we have seen that those people may have been stabbed in a previous life. They see the blood, saw the blood before they pass away. It's embedded in the consciousness. Every time they see the blood, there is a certain developing thing happening. They feel like fainting. Some people, they don't like to go to, some high places. They cannot see some heights. Why is it? Why some people develop this? Why some people don't? I'm not saying you have to do a adrenaline adventurous activity going from one tower to the other tower, Menara. It's not the idea. The idea is here, why some people cannot even look down from a tall place. They feel very scared. Something has been coming from the past life, maybe, because they must have fallen from a taller place onto the ground. They know how they died. They feel lots of pain. That pain is inside the consciousness that is going from this life to the other life. Do you think that we died in the proper way every life? In a nice way, in a house, on a nice bed, in a nice hospital? No. You must have died in a very terrible ways, in different lives. So those experiences are going with us. That's why these links sometimes can be very challenging to us. But sometimes it could be good. It is depending on the karma, different people's karma. Okay, maybe we can take one more question and then we wrap this up. Yes. Any more questions for today?
Bhante?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, not a question, but just to say that thank you very much for introducing the word apicca, because it calls to mind apakicho. So together with apakicho and yeah,
another one.
Few duties, yes. So it
Few
is
duties.
one of the strategies that we can use to prevent our thoughts from going here and there, having few duties.
Actually, appakicha means making time for the necessary activities. Everybody is busy, but when the situation comes, we have to make time for the necessary. Everybody is busy. Who is not busy? But here, appicha means needing a little. We can survive with a little. Sometimes, one thing that we can survive all the time. When the crisis happens, we should be able to survive even with a little. All right, I hope that's pretty much for today. So we're going to wrap this up for today. So we've been studying about Dhammapada, 3 stanzas. Actually, we normally study only 1 stanza or 2, but because there was 1 stanza relevant to the previous one, that's why we studied. May all the good karmas we be making today by learning about apicca quality and then the nature of our thoughts and how to do what to do. Also, good karmas we transfer to all the departed ones from past and living. All of us, may they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nirvana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukhita hotu jnate. Idam me jnati nang hotu sukhita hotu jnate. Idam me nyati nangutu sukita punya. May Devanaga Mahitika receive all these good karmas. May they be well, happy. May they protect and bless all of you for good health, quality of life, prosperity, and safety. May they also bless our Dhamma journeys. May our Dhamma journeys become very committed, consistent, and innovative, not stagnant, seamless all the time. May Devanaga Mahitika finally attain the supreme bliss. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavataj ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabe deva anumodantu sabbasang patyasiddhya. Ittavataj ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang patyasiddhya. Ittavataj ammihi sambatang punya sampadang sabe sattha anumodantu sabbasang patyasiddhya. Akasatta Bummata Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Kuru Kasasanang Akasatta Bummata Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Kuru Sanang Akasatta Bummata Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Kumang Paranti, Chirang Rakhang Kumang Saranti. In this samsaric life, may we be able to be in the company of Kalyana Mittas. May Kalyana Mittas always be surrounded us. May they always give us good guidance. Thinking thus, we are going to make the wish. Imina punya kammene mami bana samagamu. Satang samagamu yavanippana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we will be making today be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Metta. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siris nichang vardha prachaino chattaru dhamma vardhanti ayuvano sukhang balang Ayurarugya sampatti, sagga sampatti me viche, ato nibbana sampatti, iminate samiyujatu sadhu, sadhu. With that, our Vyasa classes. Wishing you a good night. I'll be seeing you next Thursday.
Thank
Good night,
you. Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Good night,
sadhu.
everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bhante, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Take care, Bhante.
Everybody.
Take care,
Thank
Bhante.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
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 Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu,
Thanks.
sadhu, sadhu.
Yes.
Okay, good night, everybody.
Night.
Take care.
Care too. Thank you.